let's get to a little Pistons conversation.
All right.
They maintaining a 4-game lead in the East, even with a couple of key injuries and a loss to the Raptors on Sunday. The Pistons showed up at number 3 in the ESPN Power Rankings, just behind the Thunder and the Spurs, having won 3 out of 4 games last week by an average of 22 points. That ranking is up 1 spot from 4 last week. Pistons currently sit atop the East with Boston trailing by 4 games. Coming into today, Celtics are currently playing the Warriors as we speak. I didn't even check the score on that game. Do you believe that the Pistons hold off the Celtics, maintain that number 1 seed? Also, how important do you believe it is to do so? We'll say the people's champ.
I think the injury situation we have to watch very closely.
We do. Yeah, because Cade went out of the game last night with back spasms.
And,
I don't know how that, I don't think that's a serious one, but we'll have to keep our eyes open for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's ever a thing as light back spasms.
No.
But no, the Asar ankle injury aside, because, I mean, that's just something that could just happen.
Yeah,
randomly throughout the course of a basketball game. You could be running up the court and make a sharp cut and roll your ankle on a clean floor.
Mm-hmm.
So that
That's
aside, the other injuries, it's kind of what I was talking about last week, where as you get to this point of the season, certain injuries start to pile up.
Yep.
And I get it, some of them are avoidable, but there's certain kind of injuries where I'm just like, I don't like that.
Right.
Like with Stu's case, whenever you talk calf, I mean, we were talking.
We were talking off air.
The calf has, damn near become the new microfracture.
Yeah, the calf strain is very foreboding
like
injury.
So we don't want to wish that or be a harbinger of any, ill health towards Isaiah Stewart's calf, but it's just we've seen where that road could potentially lead, and as we said earlier with Cade in the back's the back.
Man.
It's something that even when you're not utilizing it, how that's stabilized is just always vital.
It is.
So that concerns me a little bit, because we're going to need Cade to obviously play more in the playoffs.
Yes.
But in terms of holding off Boston, I do believe getting home court throughout the playoffs is important, but doing it at the sacrifice of the health of our players, I'm not willing.
We don't want to do that.
Because I think back to the 2016 Warriors, that chasing the 73.
Right.
May have cost them, because, going into that, Steph was starting to get dinged up. Clay was getting dinged up. Bogut was getting dinged up.
Yep.
Iguodala was getting dinged up.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it comes down to we've got to manage some minutes and some games to make sure they're healthy for the playoffs, I would go with that versus that. But if
I concur, by the way. I said obviously health is the most important.
But if the injury report says they can go, and we're available to go, I think we do hold them all.
Sure. No, we have the same thought. I'm like, I think we will hold on to the number 1 seed. I think it is important to do so, but the most important thing is that we go into the postseason healthy. I'm looking at that Stewart strained calf as well. That is a something that I'm watching closely, obviously, probably like every Piston fan.
Right.
And we're just monitoring that. It sounds like if the playoffs were to start today, he would probably play. It sounds like the waiting a week to be reevaluated is out of caution. So like you saying, we're not sacrificing games against the Wizards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Their G League squad that they put out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Night.
So, I would even imagine that Cade, I don't think the back spasms are serious, but I would imagine that he's not going to play tomorrow no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Because we're playing them again like we're doing one of them.
Right.
We play them 2 times in a row. So I would expect that we'll probably sit him for that game.
I think he's dealing with too.
Yeah.
See, those little things start to, then you get to overcompensate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
we've seen Piston fans, some of us that are old enough have a little trauma when we, talking about playing through injuries because we've seen where that got Grant Hill.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, and he's the poster child for that.
There's a line, we get it. We're tough and we're bad boys, but let's not be foolish. Let's be smart about our business.
So key matchups remaining for Boston, though. I will compare the schedules just a tad. They have Atlanta twice. Atlanta has the longest active winning streak in the NBA.
At 10?
With 10, yep. Okay. They got Charlotte twice. We talked about them and the fact that they've been playing pretty well. They possibly have the Rookie of the Year over there in Con Knipple.
And one of the most complete players in all of basketball in Mr. Miller.
Yeah. Yep. Brandon is he's emerged this year.
Man.
Playing very, very well. And they have Minnesota. They also play the Thunder and the Knicks. Key matchups remaining for the Pistons. We have Minnesota twice. We have the Lakers. They won 9 out of their last 10.
Yeah, they're playing with their hair on fire.
Yep.
Mr. Aiden seemed to have an epiphany within himself.
Yeah, he actually is playing like a big.
He said, I'm not the guy. I said, welcome to reality with the rest of us.
I was going to say, it's 2026. So you're just not figuring that out. We also have the Hawks once. We have the Thunder. We have the Raptors again, who just beat us on Sunday. And we have the Hornets one more time.
Jeez.
So, yeah, both teams,
damn,
they have tough schedules remaining.
Chance, no breaks.
Yeah, I was going to say, frankly, I think there are losses in there for both teams.
Man.
And I think Boston could close the gap within a couple of games, but I think we will maintain that number 1 seed, win somewhere in the neighborhood of 58 games. And I think they'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 55, 56. Y'all remember that prediction, man. But I think we'll ultimately hold them off.
Yeah, because to Boston, look at Boston's perspective as well. They'll probably be doing some monitoring when you look at Tatum's minutes, Vucevic's minutes.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown's minutes.
Jaylen Brown, like you were saying, he just looks like a tired ball player. And so I can see, both squads kind of looking to see what the other teams, especially if Boston can maybe creep up a game or two and make it like 2.5.
Yep.
I can see that, but yeah.